Hello. Welcome to Lanza. Lanza is a cloud-based spare parts planning and optimization application that turns chaos into order. Companies use Lanza to plan their spare parts efficiently. By creating focus for the planner, time is spent wisely and impact is achieved quickly. I will show you how. On the home screen of Lanza you can see all available apps. The first step in Lanza is to classify the parts assortment in the Classification app. In Lanza we can define groups of parts that enables you to optimize and report on these groups separately. Let us go into the Consumables group. This matrix shows you how we classify parts in Lanza. Depending on the characteristics of your assortment, you can adjust thresholds for price and demand frequency. Once all parts are clustered logically in the matrix, you can apply inventory strategies to each of the segments. The most important input parameter is the target stock availability. We advise to set high availability targets for cheap fast movers, and lower availability targets for expensive slow movers. This creates the best balance between parts availability and working capital. To complete your differentiated inventory strategy, you can also apply forecast, order quantity, and lead time settings. You must be curious about the results of your settings. Let's see what the impact is of your decisions in the Results app. By default, the Results app shows you the number of parts and number of annual part requests in the same matrix. However, a lot more metrics can be plotted. Let us plot the stock availability and stock value. You can see that the overall stock availability goes up substantially, while the overall stock value will drop with more than 20%. This is the result of a differentiated inventory strategy. When you are happy with your settings and the resulting business impact, Lanza will run all parts to calculate a first set of inventory parameters such as demand forecasts, reorder points, and reorder quantities. But we are not done yet. We all know that raw data is not always reliable. You still have to check anomalies, like peak demands or unreliable lead times. Leaving them in would lead to inaccurate inventory parameters. That is the reason that we created the Focus app. This app allows you to create lists or queues of parts where you want to focus on. You can even save and share your queues with others. Let's go into the Relevant Parts queue. This queue is defined by the filters in the left side panel. For this queue we went to Classification and selected fast and medium movers, in combination with expensive parts. But on top of that, we want to combine it with some of Lanza's exceptions. These are standardized rules in the background that flag parts when this rule is triggered. We pick peak demand and unreliable lead times for our queue. From the 15,000 parts, only 15 very relevant parts are left to investigate. Let's pick one from this queue. This opens the Parts app, where a Demand, Supply, and Inventory tab is shown. On the Demand tab we can see some overview figures like the demand forecast, and at the bottom we see the demand plot with both historical and future demand. Here you can clearly see the peak demand indicated in red. If we would leave in this peak demand, we can see that Lanza would calculate a reorder point of 31. Luckily, you can intervene. By clicking on the peak demand you can go to the specific outlier and exclude the demand line. This action leads to a reorder point of 5. Since we are looking to an expensive part, the stock value impact is big. On the Supply tab, lead time and order quantity information is displayed. The supply plot gives a visual presentation of this information. In this case, the different lead times of the historical purchase orders. In the same way as with demand, you can interact with these transactions to make sure your lead time is accurate, and therefore also your reorder point. On the Inventory tab, everything comes together. Since you have cleaned your demand and supply input and went through your part exceptions, your inventory parameters are now ready for upload to your ERP system. Applying management by exception enables you to run through your complete parts assortment efficiently and update your planning parameters accurately and quickly. With the right inventory parameters in place, you will question, am I getting the promised results? Our embedded KPI dashboard in the Reports app gives you that insight. Our standard KPI dashboard shows you the trend on our three main KPIs: stock availability, stock value, and operational costs, driven by the number of supply lines. Various filters allow you to see what you need. However, Lanza wants to give you actionable insights. With our bad actor lists, we enable you to drill down to part level and focus on the worst performers. A direct loop back to the parts app of Lanza closes the planning cycle instantly. Our promise is that you can meet your availability and working capital targets without spending days to analyze your parts. A smooth integration with your ERP system prevents disruptions in your operational process. Advanced made simple.